Before we begin, a quick note. I may mispronounce some of the names in tonight's episode. I apologise in advance, but I want to make sure these people, these stories, are remembered and told. Imagine walking through a quiet forest in New England. The fog hugs the trees, muffling every sound. The wind carries a whisper, but not of nature. It's something unnatural. Somewhere ahead, water laps against rocks, slower than normal, like a heartbeat out of rhythm. You feel a chill crawling up your spine, a sense that you're not alone. Then, in the shadows, you see it. A body. Silent. Still. No one around, no explanation, and you realise this is not the first time, nor the last. 13 lives vanished in the span of months, leaving only questions behind. Tonight we're diving into the chilling story of the 13th body. What would you do if tomorrow you stumbled across the first clue? Welcome to What's That Behind You Declassified. I'm your host Adam. Tonight we venture into the foggy woods, quiet riverbanks and remote trails of New England, into a mystery that has authorities baffled, communities terrified, and online theorists in overdrive. New England is a region steeped in history. Cobblestone streets, colonial houses, lighthouses standing like sentinels over rocky coasts. But beneath the postcard-perfect landscapes, a shadows has been creeping across the region. Over the past few months, authorities have been investigating 13 deaths, mostly women, found in remote locations across Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Maine. The circumstances are unsettling. Some bodies have been found near rivers, others along forested trails. No witnesses, no obvious cause of death, no apparent motive, and yet a pattern is emerging. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but undeniable. You start to wonder, if you left your house tonight, could you become part of the story? It's not just the deaths themselves, it's the fear they leave behind, the way ordinary places suddenly feel unsafe. Trails you walked every weekend, riverbanks where kids played, woods where hikers wandered freely. All of that has changed, almost overnight. The world is full of shadows, hauntings, mysteries, conspiracy theories, and strange lights in the sky that refuse to be explained. Here on What's That Behind You Declassified, we don't just tell the stories, we investigate them. Each episode takes you deeper into the places where history, fear, and the unknown collide. And if you want to be the first to uncover these secrets, you can. By joining our members community or Patreon, you'll get early access to every episode, exclusive content, and a chance to step further into the dark with us. So ask yourself, do you really want to wait to know what's lurking just out of sight? Join today and discover the truth before anyone else does. Because the question is never what's out there, it's what's that behind you. We begin with the first victim, the discovery of Adriana Suazo. The most recent victim, Adriana Suazo, is 21 years old. She was found in June 2025 near Milton, Massachusetts. A recent college graduate from Boston, Adriana had a passion for hiking and often explored local trails alone in the early mornings. Friends describe her as vibrant, adventurous, and endlessly curious about the world around her. She loved painting landscapes of the forests she explored and was known for keeping a journal filled with sketches, thoughts, and reflections from her walks. She volunteered at a local animal shelter, often spending weekends helping care for rescued dogs and cats. Adriana was deeply close with her family, often taking long calls with her younger siblings to check in and tell stories. On the morning she disappeared, Adriana set out for a walk along a familiar wooded trail. Hours passed and she never returned. Her body was discovered by a hiker who initially thought it was a disregarded mannequin. Only when they drew closer did they see it was real and immediately called authorities. Police reported no signs of trauma, no disturbances in the surrounding forest, as if she had simply vanished, one officer said. Adriana's death marked the 13th in just a few months. Investigators were left with a chilling question. What connects these deaths? And for the rest of us, the question becomes, if you were alone in that forest and saw something like this, would fear freeze you, or would you act? Detectives began to notice troubling patterns across the cases. The locations of secluded woods, quiet riverbanks and remote trails. Victims were primarily young women, aged 20 to 30, though some older victims appear in the mix. The circumstances with no clear cause of death, no evidence of a struggle in most cases. Some victims had minor injuries, others none at all. Some were found near water, some along trails. But in almost every case, forensic links were lacking. Authorities have suggested cautiously that a single serial killer might not be responsible. Yet the similarities are striking. Meanwhile, the public noticed patterns authorities might miss. Social media buzzed with speculation. A Facebook group called New England Serial Killer grew to thousands of members, each analysing timelines, maps and victim profiles. Posts read like horror stories. It's like something in these forests don't want us there, one member wrote. All the victims were alone, all of them. Someone or something is picking them off. So here's a question for you. Do you trust authorities to uncover the truth? Or do you think ordinary people armed with maps and intuition can sometimes see patterns the experts miss? Although we may not be able to cover every victim as some was unknown, we can cover some of them. And each of these women had a life, a story, dreams, and also loved ones. To understand the depths of this tragedy, let's explore what is known about them and imagine who they were beyond the headlines. Adriana Suazo, who we've already covered, was a college graduate. Environmental science was what she was reading. She was passionate about hiking, painting, and journaling. She volunteered at local animal shelters. She had close family ties and daily contact with her siblings. Friends describe her as adventurous, compassionate, endlessly curious, with an infectious laugh. Then we meet Paige Fanon. She was 35. She was a physical therapist originally from West Islip, New York. She was a morning runner who was disciplined and generous. She hosted book clubs and was a reader of historical fiction. She was active in charity and community events and always present. Family remembers her as warm-hearted, meticulous, and selfless. Then we have Dennis Leary. She's from New Haven, Connecticut. She enjoyed solitary walks, journaling, and sketching nature. She was an introspective. She was quiet, she was generous. She also attended art workshops, and she mentored a lot of young participants. Then we have Michelle Romano. She was a community organizer, festival volunteer, and assisted elderly neighbours. She loved hiking, birdwatching, photography, hosted gatherings with Italian family recipes. Then we start to move in to the unidentified women. One was found in a suitcase near a cemetery, likely transient to or new to the area. She was early 20s, possibly a seasonal worker or student. Then we have another one who was found on a remote trail, likely local. She was aged roughly between 25 and 35, so she could have been a student or a young professional. What's even more damning is we start to move into parts. We have an unidentified woman whose skull was found off Route 3. Testing says she's early 20s, student or recent graduate. We have another unidentified woman whose leg's bone was found near shore. She was aged roughly between 20 and 30, likely frequent coastal hiker or walker. And then the rest of them are remote woods, riverbanks and trails where parts of people have been found. Their ages between 20 and 32, they're likely hikers, students or young professionals. Imagine the fear in families and communities. Imagine walking each morning to news of another death. Someone just like your daughter, your sister, your friend. And yet these deaths continue unanswered and unexplained. Now we come to the part that keeps investigators awake and sparks endless debate. The theories. When 13 unexplained deaths occur across a region, patterns emerge, and explanations range from controversial to chillingly bizarre. As we've already touched upon, there is the single serial killer theory. The points of this are they are of shared age, gender, and a lot of habits of being alone. Locations indicate knowledge of terrain, possibly local or travelling predator. Some victims show no trauma, methodically controlled or sedation possibly. Timing, it's obviously between spring to early summer, so a seasonal opportunity. There's also the ritualistic or cult activity theory, with the placement of the bodies that may be symbolic. Historical precedent in New England, it's obviously a lot of secret societies and occult practices. Water and woods may have spiritual or symbolic significance. And again, the timing and placement may follow ritualistic patterns. Some even say a paranormal explanation, with some of the victims show no trauma yet still died. Reports of fog, sudden chills and strange sounds where the bodies were found. And legends of the vanishing walker, a spectral presence said to roam forests and riverbanks. There is a lot in the conspiracy and cover-up theories, with conflicting reports that may suggest obfuscation. Some bodies near restricted areas or infrastructure, and the deaths could be deliberate, controlled, and hidden from public view. And as always, there is a nature and accident theory. These are all remote areas that have hazards, cliffs, rivers, hypothermia and wildlife. And some deaths may be tragic accidents, but clustering in time and place keeps suspicion alive. Listeners, which of these theories feel the most plausible? Could it be a combination? Human malice intertwined with environmental hazards? Fear or something beyond understanding? If you were walking these trails today, could you see the signs in time to survive? Communities responded with fear and determination. Town meetings, neighbourhood watches, patrol, online alerts, parents keeping children close, hikers sticking to crowded paths, and forests once inviting feel watched. One local woman said, "We can't just hide in our homes. We have to watch out for each other. If someone goes missing, every second counts." Yet fear persists. Would you change your routines or attempt to live normally despite the dangers? Experts remain cautious. Criminologists note clustered geography and timing, but lack of clear links psychologically makes it near on impossible. Psychologists warn fear amplifies perception, but cannot explain 13 deaths. And at the heart, 13 unexplained deaths, all in the same region, and no one knows why. Imagine walking the trails today. Would you dare walk alone, knowing what has happened? Or would fear dictate your path entirely? The New England deaths remain unresolved. Authorities continue to investigate each case carefully. Though official statements are cautious, police emphasize there is no definitive link between all 13 deaths. Yet they cannot dismiss the disturbing patterns. Detectives urge anyone with information, even seemingly minor details, to come forward. Meanwhile, forensic teams continue testing remains, personal items, and environmental clues, hoping to uncover something that will finally explain these tragedies. The public, however, has not waited for answers. Communities remain vigilant, social media forums are alive with speculation, and locals share personal experiences of unusual sounds, sudden chills, or mysterious movements in the forest and along the rivers. Some question whether law enforcement have overlooked something, or if these deaths are part of a pattern too strange to be explained by conventional methods. As we reflect on these victims, it's impossible not to imagine their lives. Adriana, Paige, Denise, Michelle, and the unknown women were more than names in a report. They had routines, ambitions, and families who loved them. Their disappearances remind us how quickly safety can vanish and how fragile our understanding of the world really is. And now I leave you with the questions that remain. Could these deaths be a work of a single meticulous predator? Could ritualistic or cult activity be involved? Or could forces beyond our understanding be at play in these remote, fog-covered woods? What patterns might be missing, right here in our own backyards? And most importantly, if you were walking one of these trails today, would you do it differently? These questions may never have easy answers, but by listening, thinking, and staying aware, perhaps we come a little closer to understanding the unknown. Sometimes the most important truths emerge not from what is solved, but from what we continue to question. I would like to hear from you. Have you experienced something unexplainable? Noticed patterns others have overlooked? Share your thoughts on social media. Sometimes the people paying attention uncover the truth. Thank you for joining me tonight on What's That Behind You Declassified. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, the line between the known and the unknown is thinner than you think.